You walk into a crowded room. The music is loud. The lights are dim. You lock eyes with a total stranger across the bar. In that exact fraction of a heartbeat, you think you have a choice. You think you are in control. But you are completely wrong. Your conscious mind has not even processed their face yet, but deep inside your skull, a silent, lightning, fast biological machine has already flipped the switch. 0.15 seconds. That is exactly how long it takes for your brain to decide if you are attracted to someone. It is a brutal, unforgiving calculation. An invisible hijacking. By the time you walk over to say hello, the game has already been played. And you did not even know you were a pawn. We like to romanticize the idea of finding our crush. We call it destiny. We call it catching a vibe. But behind the butterflies and the sweaty palms, your brain is running a cold, hard 3-stage survival protocol. The architect of this theory is Bernard Merstein, a brilliant researcher who figured out back in 1970 that we naturally filter out our future partners through a relentless, invisible screening process. Stage 1 is the raw stimulus. It is pure, unfiltered physical calculation. The moment you see a new face, your brain fires up a psychological radar. It looks for ethnicity first. It sounds wild, but major data backs this up. Millions of swipes on dating apps like OkCupid reveal a hidden psychological bias buried deep in our programming, where certain profiles, specifically Asian women and white men, secure the absolute highest overall scores. But the scan does not stop there. The radar immediately shifts to gender and physical traits. If you are a guy looking at women, your brain is hunting for high femininity, soft, delicate features. But if you are a woman looking at a guy, the system actually glitches. You might think being a super jacked, hyper, masculine dude is the ultimate cheat code. It is not. Extreme masculine faces are secretly flagged by the female brain as a massive threat. They register as way too aggressive. The ultimate sweet spot for a guy is a bizarre genetic cocktail called sexual dimorphism mixed with neoteny. In plain USA slang, that means having a masculine bone structure, but with soft, baby-like features. It is a delicate balancing act. If you have a total baby face, throwing a beard into the mix instantly balances the equation. If your jawline looks like it could cut glass, rocking a longer haircut softens the aggressive edge. And then there is the ruthless age check. Women are subconsciously hunting for dudes around their exact same age. Men, however, are biologically hardwired to lock onto women in that early 20s range, completely regardless of their own age. But your eyes are only half the story. The real investigation is happening invisibly in the air. Let us rewind to 1995. A group of researchers pull off one of the weirdest experiments in history. The sweaty T-shirt study. They get a bunch of guys to wear plain T-shirts for days, soaking them in raw sweat. Then, they bring women into a room, blindfold them, and tell them to sniff the shirts. They have to rate the attractiveness of these invisible men based purely on their raw body odor. What the researchers found was absolutely terrifying. The women heavily preferred the scent of men whose immune systems were the exact opposite of their own. Your nose is literally acting like a high-tech DNA scanner. You are unconsciously sniffing out a stranger's genetic code, trying to find a mismatched immune system, so your future kids will be born with a bulletproof defense against disease. You think you just like their expensive cologne. You are actually running a complex genetic background check. If a stranger actually passes the physical and genetic scan, your brain unlocks stage 2. Value. This is where the machine aggressively measures compatibility. Men actually agree pretty universally on what makes a woman physically attractive, whether they are straight or gay, but women are way more ruthless. For them, a guy's value shifts violently based on his status. Take a crazy experiment from the guys at Mythbusters. They took photos of average guys and told women these dudes worked dead-end low-paying jobs. The ratings completely tanked. But when they showed the exact same photos to a different group of women and lied, saying these guys were pulling in massive salaries, their physical attractiveness scores magically skyrocketed. A fat wallet actually hacks the female brain to make your face look hotter. It is a verified phenomenon that traces all the way back to a massive 1,989 study. Women are biologically wired to crave high status, while men honestly do not care about a woman's bank account or job title at all. Then the brain starts scanning for personality traits. Guys are drawn like magnets to extroverted women, subconsciously looking for large eyes and an upturned, smiling mouth. Women are way trickier. If a girl is just looking for a quick hookup, she gravitates toward the loud, extroverted guy. But if she wants a real, long-term relationship, her brain flips the script entirely. She suddenly prefers the quiet, introverted man. It is a hidden trapdoor in the modern dating world, but there are sneaky ways to completely manipulate this value stage. Look at a wild study from 2003 involving waitresses. The ones who simply repeated their customers' exact orders back to them raked in 68% more tips. It proves a massive psychological secret. We are hopelessly addicted to people who match our energy. Mirror a stranger's vibe, and their brain automatically flags you as a trusted ally. Oh, and if you really want to break the system entirely, just wear red. It is scientifically verified that a guy will happily blow twice as much cash on a date if the girl sitting across the table is wearing a red outfit instead of boring blue or gray. If you somehow survive the value check, you enter the final and most intense phase. Stage 3. The role. This is where your brain calculates if you two can actually survive together in the real world. In 1992, researchers planted 4 completely average-looking girls in a giant college lecture hall. One never showed up. One came 5 times. One came 10 times. And the last one sat in class 15 times throughout the whole semester. She never raised her hand. She never spoke a single word to anyone. But at the end of the year, when the students were asked to rate the girls, the one who showed up 15 times absolutely crushed the competition. They rated her the most gorgeous, the most intelligent, and the most incredibly interesting. This is the mere exposure effect. Just being around someone consistently rewires their brain to fall for you. It is the exact reason why over 65% of hardcore romances start out as boring, everyday friendships. Pure proximity is power. Just showing up at the gym or the library at the exact same time consistently can plant a psychological seed. But sometimes, the brain makes a massive, catastrophic error, a dark glitch in the matrix. In 1974, scientists discovered that if you put a guy through a genuinely terrifying, heart-pounding experience, he is 50% more likely to ask out a random woman he just met. It is a terrifying concept. When your heart is slamming against your ribs from pure fear, your brain gets totally confused. It feels the massive spike of adrenaline, looks at the person standing right next to you, and accidentally labels that absolute terror as raw, burning sexual attraction. It pushes you to make a move, because it literally does not know the difference between being scared for your life and being deeply in love. Every crush you have ever had, every single person who ever made you nervous, dizzy, or breathless, it was never fate, it was never magic. It was a cold, calculated biological equation, a hidden radar constantly sweeping for genetics, status, and proximity. You never really chose them. Before you even knew their name, before you even managed to say hello, your brain had already made the ultimate choice. In 0.15 seconds.